Very sad, very tragic news. The president of Iran, Ibrahim Raisi, was killed in a helicopter crash, and along with him, the Iranian foreign minister. And this happened in the mountainous regions near Tabriz in northern Iran. And really just tragic stuff. I mean, it's quite hard to believe. I was up all night following the rescue operation because we didn't know for about 12, 19 hours, what was happening. They couldn't locate the chopper, and I just wanted to provide some context and commentary on this issue. So look, first and foremost, my sincere condolences to the people of Iran, because Iran had a lot of love for Raisi, and he was well liked among working class people. And you'll remember he won in a very with a very good margin during the last elections. And so now what's going to happen is you'll have the vice president take over for about 50 days, and then there will be elections, and they'll have a new president. And right now there are 5 days of mourning in Iran, and the deputy foreign minister Ali Bagheri, who I interviewed in Vienna during the nuclear talks when he was the head of the Iranian delegation, Dr. Ali Bagheri, he will take over as the foreign minister. Really tragic, because we didn't just lose a good president in this case, who's taking Iran into BRICS, who is expanding Iran's relationships in the region with Latin America, with Asia, with the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, really making Iran an international player. We also lost a good diplomat, a good foreign minister, Amir Abdullahian, and it's really a shame. It's really a shame, because these are really old school veteran diplomats, and they know exactly what they're doing. They're very good at it, and they understand how the game is played. And let me just be clear about one thing. Yes, it's a tragic loss, but it doesn't symbolize or mean the end of Iran's role as a regional player, because you have to understand that even if something like this happens, you'll have 100 other Raisis, so to speak, figuratively, who will come in his stead and continue the revolution, the Islamic revolution, and the support for the resistance axis. This is very important to understand. And this is why the Americans and the Israelis have so much trouble defeating the resistance, because they think they have a different mentality. They don't understand that if you kill the leader, it's not going to change the movement, because there are so many people. It's a national populist movement. They're so motivated to liberate themselves that killing one person is not going to change anything. As a matter of fact, and again, we don't know for sure if the Americans or Israelis had anything to do with this. I'll get to that in a second. But I'm just trying to make the point that even, if someone died of a heart attack, let's say, it doesn't change the movement. This will continue. Make no mistake. And you could even say that it reinforces and strengthens the movements, because when we had people in Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran, like Haj Qasem, General Soleimani, being assassinated, it made the resistance even stronger. When Sheikh Ahmed Yassin from Hamas was killed, it made Hamas even stronger. So, these things don't work. Now, did the Israelis have anything to do with it? I don't know. I really don't know, because there was a lot of bad weather here. It was very foggy. We're talking about a snowy, mountainous region. They had trouble just getting to the crash site, which gives you an idea of how stranded and remote the area is. So, it's not out of the question that it was just simply a terrible accident, bad weather, harsh terrain. Now, the timing of it, I don't know. I mean, remember, it's barely a month ago that the Iranians responded to the Israeli strike on the consulate in Damascus, right? So, it's May 20th. The Iranians responded on April 13th, so about 5 weeks. And they launched 300 missiles at the Israelis. So this could be payback from the Israelis. I'm not saying it is. I don't know. I really don't. It's too early to tell at this stage, but it could be, right? The Israelis do things like this. It's not beneath them. So, they behave like this because they're thugs. They're just bandits, criminals, murderers. So, it's not beyond, it's not beneath them or, beyond the stretch of imagination. Now, did they do it? Again, we'll see. I just think that it's, it's really unbelievable. I still can't believe it's real, because, these are big political figures that we're talking about. And this moment in time, especially, we have the struggle in Palestine going on. We have the struggle of the global south, fighting to birth a multipolar world. We have so many things happening right now. And having figures like this being killed or dying, it's not a blow to the movement, but it's an emotional one. You know what I mean? So there are tons of people out in the streets in Iran who are mourning. And you will see, because I already know, and I've seen the Western media try and insult him, and they do the same thing. Oh, he's a hardliner, whatever that means. So they will do the usual Western propaganda nonsense. But make no mistake, he's very popular in Iran, very well loved. And if you just remember, Soleimani's funeral, for example. I mean, it's just massive. And you will see the same thing when Raisi's funeral happens. Allah yarhamah. So. Very, very sad. And this was, they were riding in a MIL helicopter, so an Mi-17. This is an old Russian helicopter. Now, is it because of the sanctions that they couldn't replace the parts? I don't think so. I think that bad weather is more of a concern than, the sanctions are replacing the parts. But make no mistake, those do have an impact. It is, an actual health hazard caused by the Americans. Because when the Americans put sanctions on Syria, on Iran, you can't get medical equipment, you can't get repair parts, spare parts for planes. Yeah, it puts people's lives at risk, absolutely. But I don't think that the president will be traveling in one that isn't well maintained. So I don't think it was necessarily that, although this helicopter specifically is known for its accidents, which is really sad. You've had previous diplomats, ambassadors, people who are leaders, presidents, killed in this exact Russian model helicopter. It's quite old. I think it's time to retire it. It's got a bad air about it. So, it doesn't bring any good luck, unfortunately. So, in any case, we'll see what happens. But make no mistake, the resistance axis will continue. The struggle will continue. And I'm willing to bet that Iran will be even stronger with even more resolve. Right now, there's a Holocaust happening in Gaza. No one is going to be distracted from that. This is the mission that Iran has adopted. It's a pillar of the Islamic Revolution in 1979, which is the support for the Palestinians. And Iran has been steadfast in its resolve and unrelenting in its support for the Palestinians. And so this will not change. I guarantee you that. It's a very sad day. It's a black day, and it's a terrible event. But the struggle continues. And ironically, the Americans, of course, have said absolutely nothing. I mean, that's just disgusting and shameful. Even if you don't like the Iranians, which the Americans certainly don't because they're vindictive, you can just at least, put out a diplomatic statement and just say our condolences, just to be diplomatic. But no, they're literally quiet. It's been almost 2 days now. Nothing, not a word. Unbelievable, really unbelievable behavior. And I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, even... the EU came out and said something which they've also played a massive part in sanctioning and causing trouble for Iran at the Americans' behest. So in any case, I mean, tons of countries have come out with their support. You've had Maduro, you've had Venezuela and Maldives and Russia and all these countries, these massive players in the global south, in the multipolar world to come, who have expressed their condolences and offered to lend lent their support. Syria was one of the first. Syria was one of the first to say, we're ready to do anything that you want, anything you need, any rescue or equipment that you have, which Syria is in dire need of, nevertheless, because of the sanctions and the war waged against them. But there's a lot of brotherly cooperation between Syria and Iran Iran has gained a lot of friends in the last years by being diplomatic, by being smart. And that's a trend that's going to continue, I'd wager. So just thought I'd speak a bit about that. And, we're not ruling anything out. Make no mistake, there's still a possibility that the Israelis did it. I don't know if they did, but it's not beneath them. Someone who bombs an embassy will also assassinate a president. Someone who murders someone like General Soleimani could also assassinate a president. The Israelis have bombed numerous Iranian nuclear sites. They have thuggishly murdered numerous Iranian scientists. They have attacked so many Iranians, just generally speaking, through the sanctions by getting the Americans to sanction them. So, they've always waged war against the Iranian people. They are thugs, the Israelis. They will stop at nothing. And so right now, when the Israelis are losing so badly in Gaza, they're freaking out and they're saying, well, hold on, who is giving Hamas all this support? The Iranians? Let's go attack the Iranians. But they can't win. No matter what they do, no matter how many embassies or leaders they kill, again, I don't know if they did do that with Raisi, but let's say hypothetically, no matter what they do, the Israelis will not, they will not prevail in this case. I guarantee you this, and they are on a losing trend. And we just saw the ICC apply for arrest warrants against Netanyahu, so you can see where this is going in terms of Israel's image, never mind what's happening on the battlefield. So just thought I'd give you a brief recap and some context to this sad helicopter crash that killed, a dozen people, including Iran's foreign minister and President Raisi.
Again, YouTube demonetized my channel because I'm not allowed to say naughty things about Israel. Telling the truth is forbidden. So if you are able to donate a few dollars on PayPal or on a monthly basis on Patreon, please consider doing it, because it would really help me continue my journalism and support independent media. So I'd be very grateful. And the links are in the description and also in the chat. Thank you guys very much again for all your donations and all your kind comments. I appreciate it very much.